If you don't live to serve, you don't deserve to live. Welcome to the Coffee Chat Podcast, and today we're going to be talking about servant leadership. My name is Aaron. I'm going to be your host today. It's just going to be me, myself, and I. And I just want to take some time to thank you so much for everybody who's been tuning in, everybody who's been watching on YouTube, everybody who's been listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Man, I appreciate the love. I get texts sometimes of people who have been encouraged or who've it has helped them in their business, the story of other people. And that's the reason why we have the Coffee Shop Podcast. You want to invite other local leaders who have businesses, who've struggled, and we just want to learn from them. We want to hear them out. We want to see what they've gone through so we can appreciate them more. And, last week we had the owner of El Tataki. We had a great time. I learned so much from him that he was a friend of mine, and I didn't even know his full story. So now I know. And today I want to ask you guys, we're talking about leadership. If you own a business, if you own an organization, if you're running, leading people, what kind of leadership style do you use? If I can sum it down to two leadership styles that I know is a traditional leadership or a servant leader. And these are pretty much the opposites. And here at Colados, I'm going to talk to you guys like if I was talking to one of our business leaders, because that's how we call our shift leaders. They're business leaders because they're leading our business. And before they become a business leaders, we train them, and I give them this little talk. So I'm going to pretend like you guys are about to be hired as a business leader, or you were, promoted as a business leader. And I will kind of explain the difference between a traditional leadership style is somebody who's leaders on the top, and then as the management, employees, and the customers very last. But when you flip it over, you put the customers first, and then you put the employees, and then the management, and the leader is last. So I tell them, the Reina family, we're the last ones here. It's all about our customers and our employees. And when you see that, you notice a difference. The culture changes. We're here to serve. And in a servant leadership, it's about sharing power. It's about putting other people's interests first, rather than focusing on the people on top in a traditional leadership and having this egocentric mindset. And this traditional leadership comes from, many years back, back when the kings used to rule and whatever the king said went, or, there's like dictatorship mentality. But we've noticed a great difference when we switched to this leadership concept, or when we started, the shop with this servant leader mindset. And a lot of this comes from things that I've learned from Simon Sinek. If you haven't checked him out, he has a book called Leaders Eat Last. Super recommended. So, as we're training our business leaders, I ask them, what does it mean to you when leaders eat last? And they'd be like, well, they let everybody go first, so that means they're more important, which is the right concept. But I love the story of how this came about when a general at a Marines Corps was asked, what makes you guys so good? And he simply responded with, leaders eat last. And he tells them that it's not a rule, it's just naturally it happens, that they eat by ranks. So the junior Marines will eat first, and then the people, higher above eat after. But I remember hearing a story of, after everybody ate, there was not enough food for the leader to eat. So naturally, he just went back to his office. And when he came out, he saw that everybody had saved food for him. So what does this lead to? That when you put other people first, they're going to have your back. When you put your employees first, your customers first, they're going to, give back to you. They're going to have a little bit more respect. They're going to have your back. So that's the concept. And many times we wait for people to respond first. I'm going to see how this person that I hire, how he's going to respond. And then I'm going to treat him the same way back. But when we flip it and we say, we're going to treat you like this because this is who we are, it's going to change the way that you treat each other, that you see each other. And I remember many years back, I went to go visit Michigan, Grand Rapids. And it was a small little town. And they had decorations. It was around the fall, so they had decorated the whole town. And I'm like, I remember asking people, like, do people steal these? I was like, I can't imagine Arizona with like just putting like decorations outside, like on the light posts and things like that. And I asked a couple of people around, they're like, what happens? Like, don't people steal the decorations? I'm like, nope, we don't have that here. And I was like, interesting. And then I started looking and I found out there was no cops. I never saw one cop when I was around that area. And I was like, that's interesting. But what happened is the culture there, nobody steals from each other. It's just they see something, they don't take it. And of course, there's a lot of places where this can't happen. But why? It's because everybody there has the right mindset. If you see something, we know not to take it from them. So it's a natural rule that was created, and you look down upon if you don't do that. So today I want to help you out with 3 things that can help you become a servant leader. Why is it so important? Is because your business depends on the leader. If the leader gets better, then everybody gets better, right? So it's important for a leader to be the one to make this decision. Maybe you're not the leader, but you know what? You're always leading somebody. There's always somebody who's looking at you. Maybe it's your younger brother or sister. So how we lead them depends on our decisions. So 3 things. Number 1, lead with love. Yes, I said the L word in business. I know what you're thinking. How can we put love in business? But if you love what you do, it's going to come naturally. I mean, it's something that we've seen here at the shop. We have a passion for people. We love what we do. And naturally, we want the best for this company. We want to see it grow. We want to have, the best employees, letter Logan. We want to have a great culture. So we have to plan. We have to invest in our employees. And when you love what you do, it's just something that naturally happens. And I remember outside of this shop, I was leading somebody else, and that person was giving me a hard time. So I could have gone 2 ways with it. I could have confronted them in the moment in front of everybody and told them, put them in their place. But I said, how can I lead with love? And I said, I'm going to put this person on the side, and I'm going to talk to him, and I'm going to be like, hey, man, I want to better understand what you're going through. Why do you always give me a hard time? And we did, and we ended up being better than we were before because we cleared the air. I was there trying to lead with love and compassion. I was like, what's going on? Help me understand what you're going through. Why do you respond this way? Rather than me going in there and yelling at him like, I'm your boss and, you're supposed to listen to me. But it changed the direction of our relationship. And now he's on our side. He's there whenever I say something. He's for it. So when we focus on one person and we care for them, we listen to them. That's a key for leadership. When you listen to people, they have no choice but to do what you need to do. What you tell them to do, that's just an actual reaction that happens when you lead with love. And when we remember that, the people that you're employing, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's daughter, that's somebody's parent. And when you put it in that perspective, you want to treat them right, because how would you want your parents to be treated if they're working somewhere? How would you want your children to be treated at a school, at a job? You want them to respect them. So when we lead with love, that's a great indication that we want to be a servant leader. Number 2, lead by example. Now, we can't be just sayers. We have to be showers. And when you're training somebody or when you're showing somebody something, it's a lot better than just to point fingers. Hey, do this. So as we're training our business leaders, we ask them, what's the difference between a tour guide and a travel agent? Take some time and think about it. What's the difference between a tour guide and a travel agent? All right, is that enough time? So a travel agent tells you places that he recommends you to go, right? I've heard about, this great place in Cancun where it's pretty nice, but maybe they've never been there before. But a tour guide, he takes you step by step. He walks with you and he shows you around the places that he's been through. And that is what leading by example is. When you walk step by step, not in front of them, not behind them, but right next to them and tell them, I'm here with you. I'm going to help you get through this. I'm going to show you the ways, rather than just telling them what to do, always, bossing them from the top to the bottom. And something that helps us here at the shop is when they get busy, we jump in there. We help out. I posted a video a couple months back of my parents, washing dishes in the back. They don't mind doing that. That's not something that they just have to think about. It just comes naturally. If they need help, I'm gonna jump in there. I'm gonna help them, and that is how we lead by example. And that's gonna speak so much louder than anything you say. When you're really willing to roll up your sleeves and get dirty to help your fellow employees or your organization, that says a lot. And lastly, lead by empowering. Now, this word was new to me a couple of years back, but I've learned to just love this word empowering. And all it simply means is when you share power with other people. Because great leaders create more leaders. They don't just keep the power for themselves. That's probably like a traditional leader. But a servant leader shares his power. And a great example of this is the first time we left the shop by itself when we went on vacation. We were so afraid of, what could happen. But we said, you know what? We're going to trust you guys. And we want you guys to take care of it. And we left. We turned off the phone. We didn't answer. I think it was like a week or maybe less. But when we came back, we noticed that they felt so excited to run something, to have the responsibility. And responsibility is the greatest trust you can give somebody. It's probably one of the best motivators for somebody to say, hey, I'm trusting you with the key to the shop or whatever your business is. And of course, you're not going to just let them go. There's training. There's, a lot of time when you have to, because trust takes time. Once they're trained, once they're equipped, you can let them gain that power. But it's one of the greatest secrets to grow in a business, to delegate, to share your power, to train other people and say, you know what? I don't want to stay here. I want other people to take my spot. That's a servant leader that says, all right, I want to get out the way so other people can grow. And I love what John Maxwell says, that when he was young, his goal was to climb the ladder. I want to get to the top. No matter who gets in my way, get out of the way. I want to climb that ladder. But now he's learned to hold the ladder for other people so they can have something that they can be sustained in, something strong that they can climb up and they can trust. So as servant leaders, we must hold the ladder for other people so they can grow. And that's something that's just priceless. Just seeing other people that you've trained, that you've allowed to grow, it's one of the best feelings that you can give. So it doesn't take much. It just takes those little details to see that being a servant leader really matters. When you put the other people's interests in front of you, it makes a big difference. And we're not playing the short-term game here. We're playing for the long run. We want to go far. We want our employees to stay here and grow, to say, you know what? I've grown so much. I've learned so much through Colados, through whatever business you have. Don't you feel excited about that? Wouldn't you feel proud of saying, you know what? I'm so much better because of the way that you have led me. So I encourage you to think about the ways that you can become more of a servant in your business. And I'm not talking about, let them do whatever they want and let them just, you guys can do whatever you want because I want to be a servant leader. No, there has to be order and policies and, structure. But empower them, lead with love, listen to them, and you're going to see a big difference in your company, in your organization. And thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. We encourage you to share to other people that you may know that have a business that maybe are struggling in this time. But like, subscribe, and let us know where you're watching from. We want to get to know you. Comment below, and if you have time, leave a review. Wherever you're listening or you're watching from, we appreciate every person that's watching, every single one of you. You're inspiring us to continue to do this. Thank you so much. Thank you, Victor, for allowing us to record this, for your time. And we can't wait for you to listen to the next podcast. Thank you so much. We'll see you later.